You can fake confidence. You can fake boundaries. You can even fake self-respect for a while. But there's one behavior that instantly exposes a woman who's been programmed to lose. And ancient Stoic women like Portia, who literally chose death over submission, knew exactly how to spot it. Because in her world, being nice didn't just mean finishing last. It meant not finishing at all. While modern women are taught that kindness equals weakness, Portia understood something most women today have forgotten. There's a difference between being genuinely kind and being desperately agreeable. And that difference? It's the line between respect and invisibility. You've been lied to your entire life. Society told you that good girls are quiet girls. That nice girls get chosen. That if you're just sweet enough, accommodating enough, understanding enough, you'll be rewarded with love, success, and respect. But look around. The nicest women you know, where are they? Still waiting for their turn. Still making excuses for people who wouldn't cross the street for them. Still saying, it's fine, when it's absolutely not fine. Meanwhile, the women who seem difficult, the ones who say no without apology, who have standards, who don't bend themselves into pretzels for approval, they're getting promoted, getting respected, getting the relationships they actually want. And you're sitting there wondering, why doesn't being good work? Because being nice was never about being good. It was about being controlled. Let me tell you about the most dangerous lie ever sold to women. That your worth is measured by how much you can tolerate. This is what I call the cool Girl Delulu. The belief that if you're just chill enough, just low maintenance enough, just agreeable enough, you'll be chosen over the difficult women. But here's what actually happens when you're the nice girl. You become invisible. Not because you're not amazing, but because you've trained everyone around you to expect your compliance. Your boss knows you won't push back on unreasonable deadlines. Your friends know you'll always accommodate their plans. Your partner knows you'll swallow your needs to avoid conflict. You've become so reliable in your niceness that you're predictable. And predictable people don't get prioritized, they get used. Ancient Stoic women understood this. Take Arya the Elder. When her husband was condemned to death, she could have been the supportive wife who quietly accepted her fate. Instead, she made a choice that sent shockwaves through Rome. She chose her own death, on her own terms, famously telling her husband, it doesn't hurt, not to comfort him, but to show him what real strength looked like. She wasn't nice. She was powerful. The truth is, nice girls finish last, because they're not even in the race. They're standing on the sidelines, cheering for everyone else, hoping someone will notice their devotion and finally pick them. But respect isn't awarded for devotion. It's commanded through boundaries. Here's what they don't tell you about nice girls. You're not actually nice. You're conflict avoidant. And there's a massive difference. Genuine kindness comes from strength. It's choosing to be generous when you could choose otherwise. But nice girl behavior? It's fear-based submission, disguised as virtue. You say, it's fine, when it's not fine, because you're terrified of being seen as difficult. You apologize for things that aren't your fault, because you're terrified of taking up space. You accommodate everyone else's needs, because you're terrified of stating your own. That's not kindness, that's cowardice. And here's where it gets really ugly. Your niceness is actually a form of manipulation. You're not being agreeable because you're a good person. You're being agreeable because you think it will get you what you want. You think if you're just sweet enough, people will love you. If you're just helpful enough, people will value you. But manipulation, even unconscious manipulation, always backfires. People can sense when your kindness has strings attached. They can feel the unspoken contract, I'll be nice to you, so you have to be nice to me. And what do? They pull away. They lose respect. They start treating you like you're desperate, because you are. Marcus Aurelius wrote, how much trouble he avoids, who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does. But nice girls are constantly looking. Constantly monitoring. Constantly adjusting their behavior, based on other people's reactions. You've made everyone else's opinion more important than your own integrity. And that's not just exhausting, it's repulsive to the very people you're trying to attract. And the brutal truth is, people don't respect what they don't have to earn. The most damaging part of the nice girl programming. You've been taught to operate from scarcity instead of abundance. You say yes to everything because you think this might be your only chance. You tolerate disrespect because you think this might be the best you can get. You suppress your standards because you think having standards means being alone. This is the poisonous whisper of a culture that profits from women's insecurities. Be grateful for whatever crumbs you get. But Stoic women like Portia operated from a completely different paradigm. When Julius Caesar tried to intimidate her by removing all sharp objects from her presence, she didn't beg for mercy. She swallowed burning coals and died on her own terms. She understood something that modern nice girls have forgotten. Your power comes from your willingness to walk away. Not from threats. Not from ultimatums. But from the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you'd rather be alone than accept less than you deserve. Think about the women you actually respect, not the ones you pity, but the ones you look up to. Are they people pleasers? Do they apologize for existing? Do they shrink themselves to make others comfortable? Hell no, they have standards. They have boundaries. They have the audacity to believe they deserve better. And that belief? It's magnetic. Here's what happens when you stop being nice. People start paying attention. Not because you're being cruel, but because you're being selective. Your time becomes valuable because it's not freely given. Your opinion becomes important because it's not automatically agreeable. Your presence becomes desired because it's not guaranteed. You stop being the supporting character in everyone else's story and start being the protagonist of your own. So, how do you break the nice girl pattern? How do you stop performing femininity and start embodying power? First, start saying no without explaining yourself. Nice girls over-explain because they're seeking permission to have boundaries. But boundaries aren't requests, they're statements. No, I can't do that, is a complete sentence. Second, stop apologizing for things that aren't your fault. Every unnecessary apology is you shrinking yourself. You're not sorry for having needs. You're not sorry for taking up space. You're not sorry for existing with standards. Third, let people be disappointed in you. This is the hardest one, because nice girls are addicted to approval. But disappointment is not your emergency. Their feelings are not your responsibility. You cannot control how people react to your boundaries, you can only control whether you maintain them. Fourth, start choosing yourself first. Not in a selfish way, but in a self-preserving way. Your needs matter. Your time matters. Your energy matters. And anyone who tries to convince you otherwise is not your friend. Fifth, embrace being difficult. Difficult women ask questions. Difficult women have standards. Difficult women don't accept less than they deserve. If being difficult means being respected, then be difficult. This isn't about becoming cruel or cold. It's about becoming discerning. It's about understanding that your kindness is a gift, not a given. And gifts should be earned. The world needs more women who choose respect over being liked. Who choose authenticity over performance. Who choose themselves over everyone else's comfort. So stop being the nice girl who finishes last. Start being the woman who doesn't even need to finish first because she's already won by refusing to play games designed for her to lose. If you're ready to stop performing and start commanding respect, subscribe to this channel. Because we're building something different here. A community of women who choose wisdom over validation, strength over submission, and authenticity over approval. The nice girl era is over. The powerful woman era begins now. Hit that subscribe button if you're ready to stop being chosen and start doing the choosing.